All right, first we have Aries rising and sun. So for you guys, this Taurus new moon is happening in your second house on May 7th. So whenever we see a new moon in second house, it's usually a time where we can kind of go back to the basics when it comes to our money and ask ourselves some really fundamental questions. Am I making money in a way that aligns with me intuitively? Am I spending and managing my money and investing my money in a way that it also feels guided intuitively? And are the things that I own or trying to own, do they make sense for me? So there's this kind of focus on overcoming a lack, because I do see the Five of Pentacles here. So some of you guys may have felt like, yeah, just either you're coming out of lack, or maybe you have felt like things have been a little bit tight, or maybe you have felt like you want to make money in a different way, but you somehow feel controlled or restricted. Or maybe you feel like there's just a goal that you have with the things that you own. Maybe you want to buy a house, or maybe you want to invest into retirement in some way, and it feels like it's not achievable for you, or in the past has been something that you've tried and then fell off and it was maybe inconsistent. So there's something here about your money where there are some factors that have played a role, likely from your subconscious, that I think are going to be coming that are going to be a lot more apparent at the time of this new moon. And that's because this new moon is sextiling Saturn in the 12th house. And any planet moving through the 12th house will drudge up things from the past, things that we have buried, things that we have refused to acknowledge, or that have been difficult for us to face. And so Saturn here is almost having us take responsibility in a way of some of the things that have happened in the past, and have us become aware of what we can do to really rectify them in the future. Saturn is always about kind of owning what we can do as individuals. And at times we can feel like we might, lack trust, or we might lean too much on others, or there might be things that we are doing behaviorally that are kind of setting ourselves up to be less financially independent or less confident in our own skills and abilities. And this is any kind of like autonomy, basically. It doesn't just have to be financial. It could be your sense of autonomy of like being good at what you do for work on your own, or in a partnership. I don't know. I just feel like that many of you guys, even though you're Aries, which is very autonomous, I just feel like there's some like financial goal that you have, or some kind of goal that you need confidence for, that you may feel like, again, you're needing someone or something to make it happen. And this is your time to, I feel like, cut some kind of old reliance. So like, let's say, for example, and you don't have to cut it, that's probably not the best words, but it's realizing where you have power outside of that. So let's say, for example, somebody I know actually who has, I think he has Aries rising. He works for a company, but he really wants to do his own thing. And there's something that he wants to do that's a dream that is a bit of a risk. So he's like, okay, I have to stay here and make this much money, and then I can go and try to do that thing. But what if this new moon is really about shaking things up? Because it is conjunct Jupiter and Uranus and Venus, and it's all about us doing things that help us quantum leap. What if there was a way that individual could maybe still work, he doesn't have to quit, but maybe there's some way to already get that dream in motion, already get that dream started, instead of like waiting for somebody else almost to give you permission, or waiting to hit this amount that you get from your job or from somewhere else. It's a sense of like being quite autonomous and feeling strong and confident that, yes, I can go do this. Yes, this is what I want. Taking the initiative, taking control away in a way that of the situation. And if there were things holding you back, starting to realize that maybe there are some practical things, but I think a lot of it is actually quite psychological with this sextile to Saturn in the 12th house. You also have Mercury and Chiron and the North Node all together in your first house in Aries. So this is a time where you're really healing that, again, that independence, that self-concept, self-image, starting to honestly do a lot of kind of work on your own mindset. And if there are things that have made you feel less than, made you feel incapable, made you feel behind, made you feel insecure. I really feel like some of those things could come up right now because Chiron tends to do that. In terms of your own thinking or even something that you hear or say to somebody. But ultimately, it's trying to help you guys come more into your own and kind of like demystify some of those beliefs in a way. So I feel like you are in a phase where you have the potential with the shapeshifter card to really shift your energy, to shift your approach to your finances, to shift into a more independent, self-reliant, strong self-will and belief. Mars, which is your ruling planet, is now in Aries, so it's quite bolstered in its fieriness and its confidence and its go-getterness. So this is your time to make changes and to maybe realize that you can have something faster than you thought you could, or to get started on it sooner than you thought you could. And this is not to rush it, because if you haven't watched the overview, make sure you watch that. But there's a strong message in the overview to pace yourself, not rush things. That's absolutely true. We are playing the long game with the sextile to Saturn, but there's also ways in which we can shake up what we're doing right now so that it can come sooner to us. And it's not rush, it's adaptation. There's a huge difference between these things, and I really hope that's making sense. Mars is in Aries, but it is also still quite close to Neptune. So if you're feeling a little bit of that, like, I don't know, I'm not super confident, I'm not super sure, but I'm really kind of flowing and I'm just going to trust, that's the energy that we want to go with this Page of Cups. We really want to listen to your creativity, your imagination, your intuition, the things that excite you emotionally, that feel in alignment, without feeling like you have to have all of the answers all figured out, because your planetary ruler is still so close to Neptune, and because we do have some of those kind of insecure planets like Chiron in the sign of Aries. So you're likely to feel some level of self-doubt, some level of uncertainty, and that's okay. You can still move forward anyway, but don't rush ahead. Try to think creatively and imaginatively about how you can do things differently, and be a little bit maybe more responsible for like yourself, or reliant on yourself. I don't know how to explain that in the best way, but I think that I was trying to get at that in an example. If you've been reliant on a partner, on a current business, on an employer, on a social security check, if there's something that you've been like really milking and relying on, it's time to kind of like come away from the mother's tit and then like make your own independent way, if that makes sense. So something about that where it's like you can go off on your own. So anyway, I hope that makes sense for you guys. If it resonates, I would love to hear in your comments down below. If you want a reading from me, I'm offering 2 new readings, a medical reading and a fertility reading, and they are cheaper than normal because they are new, and I'm only offering them at this price temporarily. So if you're interested in that, definitely check that out at cosmicclarity.astrology.com. You can find that also linked in my description box down below. Don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, share with your friends, and have a beautiful day.